Imagine standing in a royal court with hundreds of eyes fixed on you, a bow in your hand, and your task is as impossible as it can get. Hit the eye of a moving fish spinning inside a rotating wheel by only looking at its reflection in a pool of oil. Sounds insane, right? But this wasn't just a legend. It was the Swayamvar of Draupadi, daughter of King Drupada, and this was the ultimate challenge set for her suitors. In ancient India, a Swayamvara was no less than an epic audition where kings, warriors, princes, and many others gathered not just with their crowns but with courage, strength, and skills, all hoping to win the heart and hand of a princess. There were no matrimonial websites, no family astrologers running compatibility tests. Instead, it was may the best man win. And in this contest, the best man had to prove himself with a bow and arrow. Suspended high above the court was a rotating wheel, and mounted within that was a fish spinning on its own axis. Below this dizzying setup was a still pool of oil, reflecting the moving fish that was above. The rule was very clear and cruel. No looking up. You had to shoot the fish's eye by just watching its reflection in the oil. And the fish was not still. It was moving, twisting, and spinning. You had to track its motion, calculate its position, and strike with an absolute precision. And who stepped up to this impossible task? Arjuna, the great warrior trained under the legendary Guru Dronacharya. And yes, he did it. He shot the fish's eye dead on. How? Not by luck, not by chance, but by sheer training. By understanding motion, timing, and focus, he was able to do this. Sculptures from the Hoysala and the Vijayanagara temples even show us that such training was real and depicting gurus guiding students through similar challenges. Folk art traditions in India, they also showcase spinning wheels with birds mounted on them. That mimics the real test of sharp aim and sharper calculations. But here's where things get fascinating. Hidden inside the age-old tale of bravery and archery is a very deep mathematical truth. Something known today as Copernicus theorem. It all starts with two circles. Imagine a big circle with diameter L, and inside that a smaller circle, half its size, diameter L by 2. And that rolls along the inside edge without slipping. Now mark a single point on the edge of the smaller circle. As the small circle rolls, what kind of path does that marked point make? You might expect curves, spiral, something chaotic. But Copernicus theorem tells us something else. That point, despite all the rolling and circling, traces a perfect straight line right along the diameter of the bigger circle. Surprising, right? A spinning circle creating a straight path, but this only works if the smaller circle is exactly half the size of the larger circle. And that's the secret behind Arjuna's arrow. Picture the setup again. The big wheel is the rotating frame. The spinning fish acts like a smaller circle. And the fish's eye is a marked point. When the proportions and the speeds align just right, their combined motions can be predicted. Even though everything is in motion, the reflection reveals a consistent pattern. Arjuna, trained to observe and anticipate these motions, could mentally map where the fish's eye would appear next. It wasn't just archery, it was living geometry in action. Now, this idea might sound ancient and poetic, but it's surprisingly practical in the modern world. Engineers use Copernicus theorem in gear design. When smaller gears roll around bigger gears, like in clocks or machines, the path traced by certain gear points follows these exact principle. ensuring smooth and precise movement. Animators rely on it too. When they want to animate a wheel rolling forward while spinning, they need to understand how circular movements translate into predictable paths. Robotics? Absolutely. When designing robotic arms and joints, planners calculate how rotating parts can produce a straight line movement based on the same geometric rules that Arjuna unconsciously followed. Even amusement park rides, like the Ferris wheels with moving cabins, are designed using similar rotational mathematics to guarantee balance, safety, and thrill. And in classrooms, children learning with pyrographs, those circular drawing toys, are unknowingly watching Copernicus's theorem come to life as curves and lines emerge from the roll of a small circle within a large one. So the next time you marvel at how a machine moves, or how a robot's arm glides across a surface, or even how a smooth animation mimics natural motion, remember that once upon a time in a royal court, a young warrior solved a problem not just by strength but of stunning mathematical insight. Arjuna's arrow didn't just pierce the fish's eye. It pierced through the time, linking ancient wisdom with modern science. All thanks to a reflection, a spinning wheel, and the unseen logic of a moving world.